Hi, I'm Marisa Mariella, and welcome to Marisa's Easy Kitchen for Hamilton City Magazine. My favorite time of the year. It is the end of summer, and we are reaping the rewards of either a home garden or local farmers. And today we're going to focus on eggplant. This is one of my favorite vegetables, so versatile. And if you're intimidated by these, hopefully I can shed some tips, and maybe you'll be welcome to give it a try. Okay, so we're gonna start with one of two recipes. This one, I'm gonna call this really easy, low-cal, so delicious. So it starts off with obviously a beautifully freshly picked eggplant. So this part here, we're gonna cut that off. Obviously they're very clean. I did wash them. And then let's just take this off. This is part of that stem part. And then there's another little scar here. We're gonna just maybe take that off. Okay, so how do you know which ones to pick? It's gotta be firm, shiny, not wrinkled. This is a beautiful eggplant. And I bet when I slice into it, I'm not gonna see any black seeds. If you do see some black seeds, it's okay. It's not really gonna be a problem. But if it is very seedy, then I wouldn't do this recipe. I would maybe pull out those seeds and maybe use the outer part just for something else. I'll have to think of a recipe that you can use for that. But do you see how beautifully white that is? That tells you how fresh this is. So thank you to all the local farmers for doing such a great job with these eggplants. So I have to tell you, my mom, when she would make any dish with eggplant, she would always salt them. So there was this fear that they would be bitter. So she would take a slice and kind of nibble on it and determine if it were bitter or not. Honestly, I think with all the technology with seeds, I don't think we have any problems with bitter eggplants. But we do salt them because that way they absorb less oil and it keeps them nice and tender. So I have here a bowl with a nice sieve there, and just very fast, I'm gonna put them all in here. You could do it one by one, right? You could do that, but I'm just gonna do it really fast, and I'm not gonna really stress about it too much. So this is sea salt. I prefer sea salt over the iodized salt, and I'm just trying to get in between them all, maybe a little bit more. So it does look like a lot of salt, but we're gonna rinse it off anyway, so not to worry. There we go. So they're all done. And now we need to weight it down. So I have a plate here. And let's see, what can I put on there that's nice and heavy? I know, another eggplant. There. So this is gonna sit for about 20 minutes, and I'll show you the juice that comes out. So it's been about 10 minutes. You can let it go a little longer, but honestly, I think 10 minutes is fine. And just take a look at how much of the liquid came out. There it is. So remember all that salt? It's time to give them a good rinse. We'll pat them dry and then bring them back to the table. Nicely rinsed. They even feel a little different. So we're going to pat them dry with some paper towels here. So this recipe makes a delightful lunch, appetizer, dinner, midnight snack. Really, you just can't go wrong. And the eggplant will go so nice and soft and creamy. And wait till you see what we put on top. Okay, because I don't like doing dishes too much, I use my board, okay? You could use a plate if you like, but I'm going to now just put them on a pan here. Actually, let me drizzle the pan with olive oil. Make sure you use a really good quality extra virgin olive oil. So this one here is from Nardini's. I absolutely love it. And see these slices? I'm kind of going to paint them. So I just dip them into that olive oil, and they're like a sponge. They really absorb all that flavor. And then as they bake, they will soften, go so lovely, creamy, delicious. Be generous with the olive oil. It really does give lots of flavor. Okay, maybe just a little bit more on the top. What the heck? There we go. Into the oven for about 20 minutes. Nice and hot. It's about 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Here they are. Delicious. Okay, let's bring them over here. So they're hot. They're not fully done yet. What we'll do is get some tomatoes. I picked these up at one of the markets. But see these little ones? These ones here are so delicious too. So you could use the little ones. You can use the big ones. It doesn't really matter. But you're gonna just put them on top, just like that. I'm gonna use some of these nice big slices with these meaty tomatoes. Here we go, here we go. Right on top, like this. So you get the idea? You're gonna finish them all off with that. And then I have some fresh Asiago. Don't think of the Asiago with the dark rind. That's really not Asiago. This is the one that's imported from Italy. Do you know I hate grating cheese? It's one of my pet peeves. So I'm gonna just slice it like this. And I'm gonna put it on the top. This one here, this cheese here, is creamy. It has a little bit of a bite, not too salty, and it melts beautifully. So I'm gonna put it on top like that. Maybe a little bit of salt, maybe a little bit of oregano. And do you know what else I'm gonna say now? You probably know, right? A little bit of olive oil, just a little bit on the top. So I'm gonna finish all of these and pop them into the oven. That way you can see how they look. Popping these into the oven, broil for about 5 minutes until the cheese goes nice and soft and ooey gooey. Oh, there it is. Money shot. Oh, I hear the sizzling, a little bit of the golden crust on the cheese. Oh, so good. So I'm going to serve it up with a little bit of arugula salad, just lightly dressed, just a little bit of olive oil. You can add a little vinegar if you like. Just gonna give that a quick toss. All right, how many should I eat? I think I could eat half of them, no problem. Look how pretty it's gonna look on the plate. Kind of like the Italian flag, really. We've got here the arugula. If you don't like arugula because it is a little peppery, you can use some spinach, even kale. And then maybe I'll just use my fork and spoon. Oh, look, so pretty. Can you imagine eating this on the patio? Little glass of wine, call a friend over, simple lunch. Just eat a little piece of bread and you have lunch. Delicious. Recipe number 2 with my favorite vegetable. We're talking eggplants today. So this one here is a little bit more time consuming. The flavor's a little richer. It's going to be absolutely delicious. I'm not even sure which one my favorite is, either the first one or this one. But it starts off the same way. We're gonna give it some slicing, so not too thick. And again, look how beautifully white that is. So when you're taking your time to prepare a meal, right, enjoy the process of preparing, slicing. You know, be grateful for the beautiful produce that you have. That really adds, I think, so much love to your meal, and I think it shows. Okay, so you get the idea. Now, the other recipe, I showed you how to salt it, leave it in a bowl with a weight on it. Sometimes, I tell you, I don't even do that. So we do need to salt these, but I'm not going to overly salt, and I'm not going to press them. Okay, why do people do that? Well, remember I talked to you about it being bitter. These are not bitter. And the texture, well, these ones are going to be fried, so they're going to be nice and soft. So I'm gonna put them just off to the side here. Have you ever made cutlets? Well, we're kind of doing the same process with those slices. So I've got some eggs here. So some people just use the egg whites if you're trying to maybe cut down, but you know what, you're frying these. I don't know how much you're cutting down with that. And these are beautiful farm fresh eggs. You can tell by the color, and the white is nice and thick. So we're gonna give it a little beat. So there is a trick when you're making a cutlet style dish, and I'll show you what that trick is. There we go. And now the breadcrumbs, let me tell you about the breadcrumbs. So sometimes maybe people buy those breadcrumbs that sit on the shelf in a box, and you have no idea how long they've been sitting on that shelf. So these ones here come from Nardini's. They have their own bread. They make their own breadcrumbs. And let me tell you, it makes a huge difference. So if you've never tried that, I urge you to give it a try. I don't think you'll be sorry. So some freshly grated parsley, some freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano. So this is going to be the coating, the bread coating. I don't really use panko. You know, you can decide for yourself. I look at the ingredients and go, no thanks, I'll stick to bread. Okay, so here's what we do. We're going to keep one hand dirty with the egg and one hand dry for the breadcrumbs. I have my tray right beside me, and we're going to do a little bit of an assembly line, okay? If you had kids, this would be the time to get them in the kitchen, get their hands dirty, and show them what this technique is all about. It really is a lot of fun. You might make a little mess, but it happens in the kitchen. You just tidy it up. You see what I'm saying? One hand is getting all wet with the egg. I could use tongs, but let me tell you, my mom never used tongs in the kitchen. She got her hands in there. It was her hands that made the food. So let's not be afraid of getting a little bit dirty with that. So I'm gonna finish these off, and then I'll show you how to fry them. So I finished all my slices, but look, I have a little bit of leftover breadcrumbs and egg. I'm not gonna let it go to waste. So some of these slices are just gonna get a double dip. And these ones are gonna be mine. Okay, there's the bottom. I wish you were here. It smells amazing in this kitchen. And those little slices that I finished frying up are certainly good to go as they are. But we're gonna go an extra step. Because remember I said this is a little bit of a more luxurious special recipe. So I have here some luscious ricotta. This here comes from Windsor. It's the Galati brothers. You can add a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a little story. When I buy this from Nardini's, I have a few forks in my car. And you know, as I'm driving, I kind of nibble a little bit. Shh, don't tell anybody. It's so hard to resist. It's beautiful, so nice and creamy. So I'm gonna add a little bit of that grated Asiago in here. So this is kind of like a 3 cheese filling for those slices. A little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano. You could use the Parmigiano Padano, but the Reggiano is a little bit of a higher quality. Look at that, it just crumbled. Okay, there we go. I think that's good. A little bit of parsley, a little bit of salt. I'm gonna give this a little mix, and it's time to fill those slices. So remember I said you could just eat this like this. Put a little bit of sauce, put them in maybe a sandwich. Oh my gosh, that would be such a delicious way to enjoy these. I'm gonna take it and we're gonna make like a little taco, okay? Look at this, I'm gonna add this little filling right in here like that. We're gonna close it up like this. If you want, you could sprinkle a little parsley in there just to give it color. And we're gonna place it in here. So we're gonna do this step for all of these. And we're gonna fill the baking dish, cover with a little bit of that beautiful sauce. So you saw how easy that sauce is? Everyone's dying here to eat that sauce. It's just so simple And really the trick is to use those little cherry tomatoes. Okay, I'm gonna finish up and put these in the oven. Too bad you're not here. Okay, I'm just gonna add a little bit more parmigiano on this. There we go. And time to taste. So I'm gonna try this one here first. So this is lovely, right out of the oven. You can let it cool as well. It's still gonna be good. This is one of my favorite dishes for the summer. My piece is too big, oh well, we'll deal with it. Creamy from the eggplant. The tomato is a little sweet, and then you get that hit of cheese. Oh, so good. It's too bad you're here right now, because I want to finish this one. Okay, let's try these ones. Little tacos. Maybe that's what we'll call them. Eggplant tacos. I don't think my mother would be impressed. So let's get this one here. Oh, the cheese is just like oozing out. Let me see if I can do a better job. There. Coming there. Oh, I lost my cheese. Hang on. Hang on. We're going to just stuff it in there. No one's going to know. All right, here it is. So you can't really pick this up like a chop because it's way too hot. Oh, I can smell the basil from the sauce. Ooh, hot. You know what they do in Italy? They do this. It's this hand motion. That is delicious. 2 ways of making eggplant. Give it a try, buy local, and thank your farmers. Thank you so much for joining me, Marisa, Mariella for Hamilton City Magazine. We'll see you next time.
Marisa's Easy Kitchen is made possible with the support of Nardini's Specialties. You simply must come in for the Nardini's experience.